stills, and we're gonna go into some still shots. And I'm gonna kind of preface the next segment, and we're gonna have a special guest. He's gonna come in. He's gonna help us out. He's gonna help kind of make sense of all of this. So let me go ahead and get that set up for us. Let's get that set up for you right now. Okay, so we are gonna start with. We're gonna go in order here. So what that means is we are going to. Is there a way to hide the ribbon here? I don't know if there is. Yep, beautiful. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go through some important cards. And so I'm going to bring Severon in as soon as he jumps in Discord. Oh, there he is. Never mind. He's ready. Beautiful. Okay, so he's ready to go. So I'm going to bring Severon in. And so for those of you that don't know Severon, he did do some deck builds with us in the past. And so what I asked him to do, and like I said, Severon was somebody that was very informative throughout the course of us kind of getting all this onboarding stuff ready for you all. Severon helped me personally to understand the new deck build process, which we're going to go over later. And so I'm going to show you kind of the steps and the thought process on how to build a deck, because one of the things that I was saying to Severon on Sunday, I think it was, I mentioned to him that like sometimes there's so much, like you want more, right? Like you want that flexibility, you want that diversity, and then when you get it, you're overwhelmed by it. It's like information overload. And I kind of felt like that at first, where basically I looked into the system and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what do I do now?" Right? Like everyone complained about the 5 Madstone gem or the 4 meltdowns and and the ward, right? But then you get this new system where like you just have freedom and you're like, oh my gosh, like what do I do? Where do you start, right? And so what I want to do is, and this is where I'm hoping that the stream will be a little different for you all, is I want to go over with Severon which are the cards that you need to take a hard look at right out of the gate. Okay, so which are the cards that if this is your play style, you probably want to take a look at these cards. We'll kind of run through these quickly. We probably have about 5 to 6 cards per affinity. And then we're also going to get into some other details with Severon. Severon put together 2 really nice documents, and we're going to be posting those here for you so you all can go read those as well. And I'll let he's going to talk about those as well. So just kind of going to give a preview to that stuff. So without further ado, good evening, sir. Can you hear me? Oh, you can't hear me. Rip. There goes that. Why can he not hear me? Voice.
Hi.
Oh, you can hear me. Can you hear me or not? Why can he not hear me? Huh, that's not good. Output device, input device. My microphone's not working. Hold on.
Over.
Yeah. Hold on. I think I might know what the issue is. Sorry about that. We were supposed to use a different mic today, and it didn't work well for us. So
it was at this moment that Nathan knew.
Testing. Yep. There we go. Beautiful. Whoop whoop. Thank you very much, Johnny.
Say clear eyes. Jesus.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you. Okay, so Severon. So we just, tried to do a little bit of an intro. Can you kind of lead us in here? I've got growth open right now.
I can see that.
Okay, and beautiful. Okay, so go for it.
Talk about growth in general, or talk about the card you have on your screen right now?
No, so I think kind of like the conversation that we had the other evening where we were talking about, like, when we're talking about growth, why are these cards kind of highlighted and why are they important, and why should the viewers take a hard look at these cards, like when, why, etc.
Okay. Well, the first thing you want to note about growth is the unique passive they have on some of the cards called Cultivate. And basically what that does is every time you buy an attribute point, that card becomes cheaper to the point of it being free. So some of the cards you'll look at and be like, why is this card statted this way compared to other cards? Because it's free. Like, you don't really get to complain about free stuff. The one that you just took off your screen, I was going to talk about.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna bring it back. I was just bringing growth up while you were talking on the video. That's all.
Okay. Oh, cool. You have like the whole thing because I have the API version and it's not as cool as that.
I do. I have this. I have this set up. So I mean, I can jump to it, but I also have the screenshots for the specific cards.
Okay. Coinmaster is really good as far as just passive farming. At max, it only gives you like 1.6 gold per second, which is like meh. But I mean, hey, free money's free money, so why wouldn't you take it? The thing that your chat needs to know right now is that on your screen you can see that his card is level 7. And you can see that it's gaining 10.7 bonus gold and 21.4 bonus gold. That does not apply to the player versus player matches. When you level up your cards, they get additional stats that only apply in bot matches and whatever future PvE is coming out.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Now, really quick, because somebody was saying that all the old cards are RIP, etc., etc. Really, really fast. Why is this new setup for cards and gems better than what we had before?
Build diversity, and with the new card system and the way they rebalance the hero, literally every hero in the game is viable, which was the project I was doing before I hopped in here. I was comparing base stats and build variations, and you can do anything that you want to, and it works as long as you play it correctly. Like, when you get, this is like jumping ahead to what we're going to get into later, but when you get into the game on version 42 and someone picks, I'm going to play jungle, and they pick a hero, you don't get to give them shit about whatever they pick anymore because most of it works. Like from the PTR, if you have the deck for it and the right affinities, you can legit run Muriel jungle, which sounds horrible when you say it out loud, but it actually works. Is it the best thing to do? No, but you can make it work and be effective with it, and that is why the potential of the system's incredible, because you can play, as long as you know how you're playing and you have the build for it, you can almost play anybody anywhere.
We have Muriel jungle being spammed in chat.
Yeah.
Really quick, Super Dave said he was asking that he understands the cards, but he doesn't understand the gems. So Super Dave, we're going to actually go into gems after we go through this part. So essentially what we're about to give you is kind of just like a high level 5 to maybe 7 cards per affinity that you should take a look at, kind of just universally. But I don't want to continue to interrupt Sevron, but I did want to answer that question. Anyway, go ahead, Sevron.
Well, I'll touch on that. Like very briefly. Part of the reason a lot of people are going to be like, oh, I only have 3 card slots now. Part of the reason you have 3 card slots is because you have 6 gems. And depending on how your gems are slotted, you actually technically have 9 items now. So you have more effects and more power and more customization of your build than you did before.
Right. And again, just to, before we get into all these cards, you can level up cards for PvE, but not PvP. And so I had tested that out. And so when you see a level 7 card, those stats are off from what it should be. But that was just me testing things out. Anyway, go ahead. Continue, Sevron.
Okay. I'm going to talk about Coinmaster, and then when you pull the next one up, we'll talk about the next one.
All right.
So we already talked about how it's just like passive farm and free money's free money. Obviously you get more for not being in combat, but either way you're still gaining money. This card can be used by literally anyone. Like, if it wouldn't be like optimal, but don't be surprised if you hop into a match and you see all 5 people on your team start with Grindmaster, because like even then it's like, it's not bad, you're still getting free money.
Okay, so it's an early farm card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
For support people, they'll probably keep that. If you're going with a growth whatever deck for support, you'll probably keep that for a while. But it's not bad.
Okay.
Exoskeleton. Oh, I love this card. If you are an offlaner, this is your new favorite card. This card is so good for offlaners. You reduce the damage taken from enemy heroes by 8. Your baseline basic attack from an 80 carry is and supports alike is going to be in the 52 to 55 range. So they're hitting you for 54, and then that's getting mitigated by your basic armor. And then after that, they're subtracting 8 from it. It is so nice because you just sit there and you can actually, like, for all the offlane people that hate how offlane is just high, sit on the right tower, you will not be doing that anymore once 42 hits. You will not be just sitting there trying not to die. You can actually do offlane as advertised and, like, 1v2, push your advantage, try and kill people. Like, offlane's incredibly fun now.
Okay. So, and that was one of the questions I was gonna have. So typically, your typical Ranger Marauder is gonna have 50, like between 50 and 54 basic attack damage.
Yes.
Okay, that's to start out. Okay, so you could get this card conceivably. You think you could push out a little bit in last hit even before your level 5 with something like this?
It's offlane's still not as much about last hitting because it's more about EXP. You can use this to go on to the carry and start damaging the hell out of him to make him back up.
Okay.
Like, that's like in offlane, if you're trying to last hit, you're still gonna have the same thing you have on live where they just shoot you and poke you out and you have to go sit under your tower again.
Okay.
Because you're trying to last hit instead of trying to harass, and it's about trading the damage out. And this card allows you to trade the damage out because you can go on to the person and use your abilities and your levels to do a lot of damage, and this mitigates a lot of what they're going to throw back at you.
Okay.
Early game card, you're going to drop this pretty quickly once you get into other things.
Okay. Flame of Zetchin?
Oh, I love this card. So much fun. So the first thing to note, as you can see in the bottom left, is to cultivate. So where you see, oh, it's 2,000 gold. No, it isn't. You buy 4 attribute points. This card is free. It's a beautiful thing. 500 true damage increases by 150 each use on a 45-second cooldown. So the more you use it, the more damage it does. After like 6 to 8 uses, you can literally walk into the raptor pit and just one-shot a raptor and walk out. And it's awesome.
Okay.
Because you don't have to like sit there fighting the raptor the whole time. There were times in the PTR where we had the vision control on it, and like the person with Zetchin would literally go in, one-shot it, leave, go farm, 45 seconds later, come back, one-shot another one, and you just kill the third one. It's so nice. And then by the time you're starting to look at primes, this card's doing roughly 3k damage. So it's like the point of the card is objective secure, and you can get into. Okay. You can get into prime fights and know that, like, oh, they're coming to steal it, and you can pop Zetchin and secure it, or if your enemy has Flame of Zetchin, you gotta watch out, because if you don't have it and you get prime really low and they come in and pop it, it's gone, and you just lost it.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to hold questions towards the end, but what I was telling the mods was, anytime I see a question that I think is really pertinent and we should address right on the spot, is how is this balanced? Like, why is a card like this balanced? Say again?
Because the card has 7 attack speed, and that's it.
Okay.
Literally, the only thing this card does is hurt non-player units that aren't towers. Like, you can use it on minions, raptors, and prime, and that's it. It doesn't do anything else. It gives you a stat that you really don't give a crap about.
Because you already have attack speed anyway, so.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a mech card that has a very specific use. Dr. Boris, Cultivate is the more attribute points you buy, the cheaper the card gets. So this is cost 2,000 gold, but after you buy 4 attribute points, this card is free.
So who would you see using this card, right? Like you said, Coin Master. Don't be surprised that everybody on your team has Coin Master, right? Who would you see primarily using a card like this?
Either your jungler or your support will have it. More than likely your jungler, because they can just use it to run around and farm faster, but your support could also pick this up just because it's a support kind of card.
Okay. All right, Highwayman.
Hey, that's a fun card. Similar to Coin Master, and then it's about farm, but you have to hit the people to get the farm. If you're looking at this one, you're like 75 gold, 15-second cooldown. How does this go to, like, how much does this equate to? 1 second. Firehawk, it is a lock-on single target card. The differences between Highwayman and Coin Master. Highwayman, you have to hit the target versus just always getting your money. As long as you hit somebody with Highwayman every 45 seconds, it is better than Coin Master. And it has a 15-second cooldown, so you can obviously hit people a lot more often than that. The flip side that a lot of people won't be thinking about when they come to this card is that Coin Master costs a vitality point. And that's an attribute point that you're going to use for the rest of your build for the rest of the game. Whereas Highwayman just costs 1,000 gold, which doesn't help you anywhere else in your build whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, once you spend that, you're not getting it back. Yeah.
Whereas with Coin Master, you're going to keep the attribute point for the rest of the match.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. All right, and then we're looking at Nasher. Malik Nasher.
Oh, you guys can tag me all you want to. I don't care. Oh, for who would use that one? Primarily, like, harass supports can use it, and you could potentially see it often because they're going to be jumping up to hit people.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Malik Nash.
Yeah.
For Coin Master.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
If you hit multiple heroes at once, it only procs it the one time.
Okay.
They coded that card very well. You can't cheat with it at all.
And this is the man that knows the answer to those questions, guys, because he tests this stuff. It's not just theory crafting with Sevron, right? I know we have other people in the community that they come up with their theories, and that's good. That's something that needs to happen. But Sevron takes all that stuff, he theory crafts, and then on top of that, he goes in and he spends the time testing this stuff. So that's the important part. It's like, oh, you know what? This card's broken, which we're going to get to one of those later. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, before selfless, that's really not a question that anybody can answer. It's a playstyle preference. Like, you can go either way. It depends on how much use you're going to get out of the card. Malik Nasher is an incredible card for heroes that have multi-hit abilities in a rapid amount of time because you want to get the stacks. So it is not a burst damage card. Like, Countess would not do well with this card because she doesn't have stacks. She says, hi, I'm on you and I'm going to kill your face off in like 2 hits. She doesn't use, hi, I'm going to stack ability damage on you up to 8 times. It just doesn't do that. Whereas everyone who's hyped for the new Iggy, who's awesome, Iggy uses this card incredibly well because his turrets will stack all of this. His Molotov does damage ticks will stack all of this. Like, everything Iggy does stacks this, and it's awesome. Gideon's ult will stack this. Gideon's right mouse button will stack this. Gadget's right mouse button and ult will both stack this. Howitzer's ult will stack this. I wouldn't really use this on Shinbi AWOL because she's more of a also, hi, I'm gonna kill your face off kind of a person if you play her correctly. Hermit, we will actually get to that one later.
All right.
So this is definitely you're on ability-based people and you're on multi-hit ability-based people. So like potentially like the longest delayed use of this card would be a Morgash Q that you dot and then ult at the end of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Holy cow. That sounds so
about that
terrible.
one
I
before?
know, I didn't, and that sounds terrible to me, by the way. That sounds terrible. All right.
It was awesome.
All right, Trapper.
Trapper is a crowd control card that is expensive. Like, if you look at the card in the top left, it's got the 8 and 4 thing. You put those together, it's 12,000 gold you have to spend to get this online. Pro rookie, yes.
How long typically would it take to get
Gold regular, no.
12,000 gold? If you were farming efficiently, let's say.
A while. Like, I don't have that one. Actually, hang on. I do have. I gotta pull up another spreadsheet. Because I actually do have a farming spreadsheet that I made.
I believe it. Can you move the alerts? It gets in the way of reading the cards. Done. Okay. So any idea on 12,000 gold?
12,000 at a minimum. Like, if you're doing really well, will take you about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
That seems very fair.
And that's if you're just speccing into the 8. If you're going straight for this card, you'd have it on in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Um,
And can you talk again? What is the proper use of this? Who would use it? Why would somebody want to buy into this card if they were, looking to build a hero deck and the play style, etc.
Okay. Well, Von Vega's got it right on the button. Chimera uses this card very, very well. If you need the extra CC on Chimera, if you're like solid on your Chimera already, you're just going to use your right mouse button on a 5-second cooldown and ult people to stun them in place and everything. But if you are like training wheels Chimera, this is awesome. If you're on, you can actually put this on an 80 carry and either use it to chase people down or to self peel. Like if someone hops on you, you can literally backpedal while shooting them and it will slow them down until they get rooted. And given how high the attack speed is, it's ridiculous.
Right. Yeah.
This also procs 3 stacks on Twin Blast right mouse button for people who are wondering. Yeah, that's fun.
That's very good. All right. Unbroken Spirit.
Yeah, anybody who's using basic attacks can use that card if you're looking for extra CC in your kit. Chevy, if you're talking about Flame of Zetrin, it only hits one person. Flyerhawk, I wouldn't use it on Severog because his attack speed's not high enough, and that's not how you spell Severog. Unbroken Spirit, you recognize this card. Everybody knows what this is just by reading it. This is Thermobond. Thermobond is back.
In terms of the stats that go into this, etc., like
in terms of a lot, like the passive on Thermobond is exactly the same. It gives you 480 health, which is about what like Thermobond gave you health, and it gives you 36 ability armor, which Thermobond also gave you ability armor. Now, 36 ability armor on this card is the second highest ability armor card in the game, which is awesome. And if you read the document I put out, ability armor cards are very few and far between. So if you are a tank, you're going to be looking for ability armor cards, even though you're not supposed to build stats anymore. Tanks need an ability armor card. And so this is a solid pickup for tanks.
Okay, even though, like, it only triggers on, some kind of stun or, crowd control. Because you still want just that ability armor, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's like,
because some people would say, "Oh, don't build Thermobond. They don't have any CC, right?" So
yeah,
how does this differ?
By stats, like this gives you 13 power, 480 health, and 36 ability armor. This is incredible.
So it's already worth.
And then, yeah, and then like you gotta also remember all the cooldowns got reduced, so people who have stuns are gonna be using them a lot more often. And then there's other cards that will apply. Like, you go back one card, Trapper at the end of the stack supplies a root, which would proc this card.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yes, Tyranny, that's correct. Okay, alright, so that is going to be growth, and then I'm just going to go in order as they're listed. So let's go ahead and go knowledge, and we'll go advanced evolution.
One second.
Okay.
For Rendra. Ratio of stats comparison from the old version to the new version. Attack speed went like through a blender that went through a wood chipper that then got high on crank. Damage, you can't really build into power the same way that you used to build into power. Like you still want to do it like early mid game because it allows you to do things in the early mid game, but you can't like there's no "Hi, I'm gonna build this card because there's a fuck ton of power on it." That doesn't really work anymore with the new stats. It's more your base damage on your abilities has been increased. For carries, it's just that their attack speed's fucking insane. So that has shifted much more to casters are about burst damage and rangers are about sustained damage over time because they have a higher DPS with their attack speed. And then there are cards that will give you power passively on the card, but the main damage spikes you're going to get out of cards are on things like, I think we're going to pull up Atomic Soldier here later, that's just increases your damage by 10%. Like that's the kind of damage stats you'll be building into.
All right. So advanced evolution.
Restorative learning. This is a playstyle card. Like it's solid for what it does, but not everyone's gonna pick it up. Like I personally don't get it half the time because I just like, I got other things to build. But if you do pick it up and you use it properly, it can do a lot of good things for you. Like if you are in the fastest two leveling lanes that will actually use this is the off lane and the mid lane because they have solo EXP. So what you're looking to do is you need to know when you're going to level up. You got to know how many minions you have to kill, where your EXP thresholds are for, like, I'm going to hit this. I'm, like, so close. I'm going to kill a ranged minion, which will give me my levels, so I'll start getting my health and my mana back. And the moment you get that, like, hi, kill a ranged minion, you just go ham on whoever you're laning against because you have the regen. If you're just sitting there farming and leveling up and you're not using the card properly. The point of the card is that you're throwing abilities at people, you're trading the damage out by like going on them and like you're hitting them, they're hitting you, but you know that you're going to level as soon as that minion dies and you're going to get the regen back.
Okay. And 5%, can you talk about that for a second? Early game, because I know we talked about one of the gems that I think it's like a 1% increase in mana or something like that. But 5% early game, is that a substantial number?
Well, it's 5% max health, 5% mana per second for 3 seconds. So it's actually 15 of each.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay.
Which is a lot better.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I'm gonna go
Health meta is not back, Aaron. Like, not really, because you have to stat balance. Like, health has been buffed just across the board from base stats, but damage is also like, so an old Gideon Rock would hit you for 280 plus 125%, and the new Gideon Rock hits you for 442 plus like 300% scaling. So yeah, your health is higher, but a level 9 Gideon's hitting you like a fucking truck. Right. So, and he's actually the lowest damaging caster in the game. So take what you want for health meta. Have fun with that.
All right, Font of Experience. I know you hate this card.
I hate the mandatory card for every knowledge person in the game.
Exactly.
Like,
why is it
Seb with
important?
8,000 health doesn't have any armor though, so we don't care. And since you can actually get negative armor and do more damage to people by overpenning, and you just pick up the overpowered spells gem that makes you do 20% increased damage on top of the fact that you're nuking people. Yeah.
Let's keep going.
Anyway.
Let's keep going. Come on.
Yes. It just makes you level faster. Like, I had a whole sheet on this, and it was like, this just makes you level. You hit your level 4 like 2 waves faster than your opponent if they don't have it in mid, and it's like, it's so nice. But like Highwaymen, this is 1,000 gold. It's not an attribute point, so you don't ever get this back.
Right. But
and if you're not pushing that level advantage, then you're wasting the card.
Right, and mid, mid and off lane, these are, I mean, especially for off lane, this is a card that is going to give, I mean, it's going to give you a great bump. Because you're
Mid,
trying to
off
get level 5.
lane, jungle, and like everyone but an ADC can get this, and it's fine. Like supports can get this because they're splitting everything. But if you're splitting everything and then you have font of experience, now it doesn't matter as much because you're still leveling really fast as a support.
Okay.
Like this, I mainly saw this on mid laners and supports.
Okay. And then power tap.
The infinite scaling card. Because you just, like, once you have your build where you want, like, you don't even have to get 75k by all the attribute points. Like, just get your attributes to where you have your gems, get your other cards where you're good, and then just start spamming power tap. And like I told you the other day, if you have anybody, doesn't matter if you're tank, support, caster, ADC, doesn't matter. If you have a knowledge affinity in your deck, you have power tap in your deck because the end of your build is, and then you just keep building power taps until the game is over.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Put this into perspective. Permanently increase power by 15, right? So at what point in the game would you typically try to get power tap? And I mean, how many times do you have to do this before it's like, whoa, that 15 is really impactful? Or does that happen like early? Like, why is 15 a big number for us? On the people
It's not like 15 is just the number that they put on it. It's the fact that you can keep buying it. And like to answer Big Head, there's no cooldown on this card. It just costs 4k and you use it. So as long as you have 4k, you buy it, use it. You get another 4k, you buy it, you use it. Like it's just every 4k you get 15 power. So for when you start doing that, don't do it until the rest of your build is done because it's 4k. Which isn't being put into attribute points to get your gems online, to get because you need attributes to get your other cards and you need attributes to get your gems. So if you get to those thresholds and you don't have to finish all your attributes, like just get to your gems and get your other cards where you need your attribute points, then you can start spamming power tap if you want to, or you can finish out your other attribute points and then start spamming power tap. But this is a later in the game or I'm incredibly far ahead kind of a card.
Okay, so and this was one of the personal things for me, and you and I had this conversation, and I was saying how, everybody complains about not having options, right, on the old system, and then you get the new system, and you're like, oh shit, what the hell would I do with all this, right? So one of the things that I was kind of overcome with at times was, okay, I have this much, but what should I buy? So like, at what point do I say, shit, I've got 4,000 that I can put into a power tap? Like, should I already have 2 cards built, or should I have all 3 cards? Like, let's say, should I have all my like my 3 early game cards out and then go back, spend that, and go to the next thing? Or should I not be trying to build out into other affinities? So like, or abilities. So like, where? I mean, this may be a hard question to ask. Like, it's not like a black and white thing, but like, where do you feel like is a good time to start investing into power tap after you have what? Everything.
Like okay. I personally do not recommend this card until not like you don't, like I said, you don't have to have all 25 out of 25 and all 3 affinities. Like you should have your attributes to the point that you need to buy your late game build, and then you can build power tap.
Okay.
To answer Senis's question, yes, but you can unequip cards whenever you want to. Like if you have all 3 of your cards slotted, what you can do is you can back on slot 1, put in power tap, use it, and then go reslot the other one and leave.
So we're gonna get to that point where you can see that, but basically you can have 3 active cards. But the nice thing about it is you can unequip and equip cards back, so you don't lose them. You know how when we would unequip or swap out cards on the old system, or I guess the current system, you lose that card and all the upgrades. That's not how this system works. This system, you can continue to use your cards as often as you want, but you can only equip 3 at a time. But we're going to get to that point. And maybe I should have highlighted that part first. I'm not sure. I just really wanted to bring 7 so we can do this. So, okay, so I'm going to go Atomic Soldier. Well, we had Static Trap, but we'll come back to that, I guess. All right, atomic soldier.
We can go static trap. That's a fun one.
All right, let's do that one. Okay, go.
So for everyone who is bitching about Murdoch having 2 passives and they're like, why'd you take a static traps off? It's because they made it into a card. Like this is Murdoch's trap. Here you go. Anybody can build them.
How effective do you think a card like this can be, though? Because, I mean, even when I had it on Murdoch, I mean, I used to use them very defensively because, I mean, 1.2 seconds is a long time for that to...
You want my honest opinion on this card?
Yes.
This is a troll card.
Okay, it's a troll card. All right.
Like you're not really going to use this. We trolled because we had 5 people that all built this card and we literally filled the entire prime pit with static traps so that nobody could do it. Oh, it was awesome.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yes.
All right, atomic soldier.
That's like there's just better shit to buy.
Okay.
Atomic soldier, if you are a caster and you have knowledge, you have to buy this card. It's pretty much that simple.
Why?
Because okay, so at a base, we mentioned that like Gideon's Q does 442 damage. So at a base level, this card has 17 power on already and is giving you another 44 power with the stats.
It's
Just
giving
at
you
the
another
base
44.
level.
Okay, right. Because
Yeah,
can you
just-
explain that so that people understand that?
Like it's 10% off the ability damage itself. So if the ability is doing 440 damage, this now makes it do 484 damage, and then it also gives you the 17 power. So if you flip that back in, give me a second.
What's up, Planet Res? How you doing? Like a permanent red buff is what someone said.
So if you flip that back in on like the standard Q with the scaling, because remember the scaling on these abilities is like 5. So you have the 17 power that's on the card that's getting 500% scaling that's going into the thing, and then you're increasing all of that by an additional 10%. And that's just with this card, not including any power you have from other cards or any other ability damage increases you might have in your build.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I've run this card on everybody that I had knowledge on. You know.
This isn't Hermit. This isn't just Countess. This is anybody who's primarily ability damage, because we had builds with proper gems, atomic soldier, and another card in them that like Gideon Q howitzer Q gadget Qs were hitting for like 900 late game.
Okay, and sleeper agent.
This
Richter.
Everyone who thinks that everyone who's wondering about how broken Countess can be, this is that card. And this ties in with Atomic Soldier, because remember ability, the Atomic Soldier is increasing your ability damage by 10%, and this is another 15% that's going to stack on top of that, which is what they mean by you're not really building stats anymore, because both of these cards have power on them, but you're not building them because they have power on them. You're building that because they have the percent damage increase. Flyerhawk, you cannot have more than one card at a time. You can't stack cards. This card for close range assassins is incredible, whether it be like, hey, I'm on Countess, I'm gonna hit your face off, or if you jump in on someone as like Sereth or anybody else, because you pop it, you do the 15% increased damage for 3 seconds, but they're silenced for 3 seconds, which means they literally cannot do anything. They cannot stasis gem their way out. They can't use shielding abilities their way out. They can't do anything but like walk and use
Wait. They can't use stasis?
No, the silence blocks everything.
I thought it only blocks abilities.
Everything.
Wow, that is very strong.
Yes. That's what.
So if there was a Hunter's Guile, this would block that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even on live, that's what makes Richter's right mouse button incredible, is because it's like, hi, I'm silenced and I can't do anything.
I don't know why I didn't think about that. So everyone is a Richter now? Not everyone. Only people that equip this.
You have to have this.
You have to have this.
Yeah. How is it balanced? Because it's 45-second cooldown and costs 100 mana and takes 10,000 gold to get online. And you have, like, if you rush just this card, you are skipping so many other levels of your fucking build that you're gonna get annihilated.
Okay, just stop for 1 second. Notch, if we can get a Notch caster command,
Holy
please.
shit.
Notch, thank you so much for that host. Wow. Like I said the other night, dude, I knew you were well endowed, but I didn't realize you were packing that much heat, bro. Thank you. Thank you very much, Notch. I love you too, homie. Thank you so much, man. Thank you, my brother. Wow. Thank you, Notch. Everybody here knows Notch, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. If you don't know Notch, you gotta go hit him with a follow right now. He's
Yes.
he's the creator of the Top Notch Stream Team. He was kind enough to welcome our channel to the Top Notch Stream Team, and we owe him quite a bit. And he's been going through a tough time this week, so make sure to show that man some love anytime that he's on. Tell her I said thank you as well. Thank you, Notch. Thank you very much, homie. I hope you had a great stream, brother. Anyway, if you're coming in from Notch's channel, we are like halfway through going through version 42, and right now what we're doing is we are going through each of the affinities and talking about what are 5 to 7 cards per affinity that everyone should be looking at, and like how situational they are. And we could cover Sleeper Agent again for all of you, but if you guys want to jump over here, right above the chat box, there's a purple rectangle. There's a button there that says Go to Channel. You can click that. You can jump in here, and we are doing a little bit of Q&A as we go along. As we finish each segment, we're gonna do a full Q&A. Currently, right now, I have a guest on stream, which is Severon. For those of you that have been here before, you already know who he is because he's worked with me before. However, if you're new here, he is one of the analysts for Toronto Esports, and he was he played a pivotal role in getting 4-2 kind of like I guess proofread for everyone for Tuesday, and making sure that the onboarding process was going to go smooth. And he was kind enough to bless us by being a guest here today and taking his time because he's got a ton of stuff that he's working on. But anyway, Saucy Elephant, thank you so much, man. Thank you for that Twitch Prime sub, homie. Thank you very much. Wow, thank you.
Holy
And there it is.
shit.
We have miniaturized notifications just because we're working on stuff. Anyway, Severon, can you talk about Sleeper Agent again, specifically Countess, and how you apply this just really quickly for anybody that just came in?
Okay, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you're gonna use this on close range people because it's a lock-on active single target, but it's very like close range as far as how long you can shoot it. And the point is you have a 3-second window to kill the person because they can't do anything but walk around in basic attack. So they can't shield themselves, they can't stasis themselves, they can't blink away, they can't do anything, and you have a limited time. Now, after that time's up, you may or may not be fucked, depends on how much damage you did to the person. But the 15% increased damage goes a long way, and this is a very good Countess card because you can just hop in, Sleeper Agent them, do your full combo, and if they don't die with a full Countess combo at 15% increased damage, you're doing something wrong. For the people who are saying, well, how do you counter this? Remember, it's single target. So it's about singling people out, like catching someone out on a rotation and just blowing up a single individual. If you are never walking around by yourself, you won't have as much of a problem because the other person there can potentially stun that person off of you, throw a shield on you, FaZe can pull you out, shit like that.
So what happens if Aurora comes in with her ult? She slides in and she goes to run her ult on everyone, and she does this. It's only single target. So
Yes.
So not everyone in her ult is going to take 15% increased damage, and not everyone will be unable to stasis. So one of the questions Chevy Man was just asking was, what if one of your teammates does the group stasis?
Then you will be in stasis because they activated the card. You can't activate the thing.
Okay. Okay.
To Bowser, this card is a perfect example. Like, power is different because you have cards that just do percentage damage increase. So, Trody, you could make it work on Yen. Like, you could. It wouldn't be the worst thing to buy.
All right, Corrosive Walker.
Oh, this one. This one's fun. So this is, I'm trying to remember what the card it is on live for it. There's a card on live that kind of does this already, but that one stacks based on the amount of people. This just does 30 ability armor shred for 6 seconds. Now, the reason that is really, really important is that everyone in the game has 25 ability armor, and this shreds 30. So if you go in and you hop in and you pop this, you are now doing true damage to everyone because they only have 25. Now, there is I think it's the T3 attribute in Vitality gives whoever has that plus 12. But then they're at 37, and this is still taking away 30 and shoves it all the way down to 7 armor, so you're still doing crap tons of more damage with this. It also gives you 25 power, which is really good, and it gives you 385 health, which is probably just because Gideon's going to use this a lot.
So, and can you talk just for a second about the whole like negative armor damage thing? Like, why is that important? Why is that different than what we had or we have on live right now?
On live, if you build like 36 pen and the person only has 30 armor, you basically just have 30 pen because it doesn't matter once you get them down to 0, it's just down to 0. After 42 goes live, we have negative armor, which is if they have 30 armor and you have 36 pen, you do additional damage for that extra 6 pen you have over their armor.
Okay, and why does... Okay, so obviously that's great, right? Like, that makes sense. Now, is there something about this update? Because I know everybody keeps talking about health, right? You know, that whole Sevrog scenario. Why is this balanced in this, like, in terms of the health? Why is health not an issue? And is this one of the contributing factors to that? And how big of a deal can it be?
Health isn't an issue because health got buffed, but so did all the base damage numbers.
Okay.
Health isn't as much of an issue because ADCs can hit you 4 times a second, which is yay. And then, like, negative pen also kind of affects that because like that just adds on to, like, health went up, yes. Basic armor went through the fucking roof, yes. But damage also went up as well.
Okay.
Selfless, you can't really answer that because you're really not building stats anymore, except for like tanks. Tanks still build for stats because they're tanks, but damage people build for passive effects and active cards.
Okay, so now we are on order, and I have both of the ward cards up, and I know that, you know, wards are wards, and that was kind of what we said the other day, but I still wanted to bring them both up, and you know, we can talk about who's going to run this, because who's going to build into Order Affinity typically, and, you know, are there any exceptions to that, and, like, who's going to have access to wards, and what kind of impact is that going to have on the game?
Well, I mean, honest, literally anyone can build into Order because there's a lot of good stuff for multiple different playstyles.
Hold on, freeze. Hold on. I think we just got to say.
I see that.
Thank you, T-Bone. Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
They did not remove it. They reduced it.
Thank you, T-Bone. All right, so let's talk about it.
So Lamplighter is just your consumable ward. This is like every MOBA has your, hi, I just pay money and I get a consumable ward that I put out, and hey. There's, unlike every other consumable in the game, there are 2 charges on this, which means you can use it twice. And unlike previous wards where you had, like on current wards, you place the one and you have to wait for the other one to come down. So you can build it, order. Ranger, heroes do not have affinities anymore. They took them off of the heroes. When you build a deck, you pick what 2 affinities you want your cards to come from. Anyway, Lamplighter, you pay 300, you have a 2-charge ward, and there's no cooldown on the different things. You can just go place both of them immediately, and then once you place the second one, it is removed from your hand and you don't have it anymore. Protective Sentry operates the same way that our current wards do, but it can only hold one charge. So you can't like just sit on it and wait for it to stack up to 2 and go place more wards. It only has the one charge, but it is on a reduced cooldown. You don't have to wait 2 minutes for it. I think at the last iteration it was like 65 seconds or something. And it's special because it gives in the entire vision radius of that ward, anybody on your team that's in there gets a basic armor buff, which is nice.
That's protective sentry, not lamp.
Yes.
Okay, right.
That's protective sentry.
Right.
As for who would get these, you can literally, I mean, everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, support has to ward. No, they don't. They usually will, just because that's how support's brains are wired. But if your support doesn't get this, they're not a horrible support. Maybe they have another playstyle in mind for how they're gonna support. Vision is very limited, like just throwing that out the gate. Mid laners, I've seen mid laners that run the knowledge order deck, and they use it because mid is the most dangerous lane in the game, because you have 6 different ways people can gank you from. So having the vision cards in mid is very, very helpful for your laning phase, and you can always toss them later for damage cards if you want to. So
Okay. Let's go to Radiant Healer.
This is a new and improved version of Circlet of Health, where Circlet gave you 2.8. This one gives you 5 health regen. The radius has been increased, which everyone that read the patch notes should see that. Radii are 1,500 units, which is longer than basic attack range, and it gives you 190 health. Supports can get this early game. It's really nice. I saw the occasional mid laner picking it up just because of the regen part, so they can fight the other mid laner and regen through it. David race is fine. You probably wouldn't see it outside those 2 people. Like, carries have no need for this card, junglers don't give a shit, and off laners have better stuff to build.
Okay. Grace.
Oh, Maling's Grace? Yes! This is Quenching Scales, if I remember. No, this is, so, segue that's sort of relevant to this card. Muriel is a lot more viable now, for the sole reason they changed a couple things about how her mana cost and shit work, and then this is the new Honor the Pure. There are no more AoE shield your entire team shields like Honor the Pure and Barrier of Will. Muriel is the only person that can do AoE shields now, which helps her a lot. This is a single target. It is a lock-on, which can take some getting used to with the targeting, but if you're like good with 3D environments, you'll get the hang of it. It's 15% of your max health, meaning not your target's max health. They get it based off of you. So if you are building higher into vitality, or you are on a higher HP character, the shield that you apply to both you and the person you're shielding is a higher in value. Now, to help you with that, it's a 15% max health shield that also the card gives you 455 additional health, which is really nice. And you have to build 5 points into intellect as well, which is going to give you more health along those lines.
Okay, and the radius on this to be able to target an ally is what? Do you know how many units that is?
It's shorter than basic range. It's about the same range as the, the silence card. Like, you gotta be close to the person.
Okay. Okay.
It's not like ridiculously you gotta be on top of them, but you can't like throw it from down lane and hit the person.
Okay. Okay, prayer.
This is the new Quenching Scales.
Okay.
Very nice card. 240 health, 24 basic armor are really good stats for this. This is a early game-ish card. Like, it takes 7k to get it online, but you're going to want to get it online because it's decent health, gives the 24 basic armor buff, which in effect when you use this, you have an additional 48 because of the 24 that's on the card. And it's like, it's basically just Quenching Scales. So everyone who's like, hey, this is a great time for Quenching Scales, this card does the same thing. So
you would say, you know, you could go Radiant Healer early just to start, and then as soon as you have the points for this, you'd swap it out. Kind of like, so like it'd be like the version of going from circlet to quenching when you do the conversion, right?
Yes, and I'm gonna get to that in 1 second.
Okay.
Hermit, sure, go for it. Flyerhawk, all shields still have armor. So shield, the armor applied to shield is on the person the shield is on. You do not give your armor to other people, which is what broke Muriel back on Legacy. But yeah, that's why they took that out. With that, you make a great point, because Radiant is 3 intellect to get online. This is 4 intellect and 3 vitality. So what you can do is you can have the Radiant, put 1 more in intellect, get your 3 vitality, swap into Monk's Prayer. And if you get 3 more intellect, you can go back and re-equip the Radiant. Because remember, you don't discard cards anymore. You just put them back in your deck and you can bring it back out.
Right. So you can stack it, yeah. But you can have both. And then use them.
Rendra, there are cards that cost gold, and there are most cards cost attribute points. You buy attribute points whenever, like there's just, as you get gold, there's a little attribute point menu, and you just put attribute points into it, and then you go back and you get the cards when you have enough attributes. Domain of Stillness.
Yes, sir.
This is a great card. It is a great team card, but I guarantee you people are gonna troll the living fuck out of you with this card. I'm warning everyone in your chat right now. You are going to get trolled with this card at some point.
I didn't even think about that.
Yes. Like all the people who thought it was horrible when FaZe pulled me into a tower, you ain't got any idea. Don't worry, guys, I got this. I'm gonna Gideon ult, and someone cancels your own Gideon ult from your team with it's gonna happen.
Okay.
2 uses for this card, because everyone's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I can stasis my whole team." Yes, that's awesome. You can use it defensively. The main way you're gonna use that card. Why did you flip to the next one?
No, it's okay. I put it back.
Okay.
I thought you were
the main way you're gonna use this card is aggressively, because it stasises everyone, including the enemy. Like any heroes in that radius get stasised. So the aggressive way to use this card is on a dive hero. You dive in the back line, or you dive someone who's like split over there, and if you can get yourself and like 3 of the enemy team in stasis, your team now has like 4v2 for 2.5 seconds and can just blow someone up because the other 3 people can't help them.
So I didn't realize that. It's all heroes. What you just said, it was something that had not dawned on me. It's not just allies. Wow.
Yeah, it's all if you see this card in competitive, it will mainly be used aggressively to split team fights. It will very rarely be used as, "Hey, I'm gonna defend my team here."
Right. So let's say Gideon is he just ulted. You can do this and it'll stasis him in the middle of his ult?
Then it will cancel him out of his ult, yes.
Wow. Okay. I like it. Alright, next is Stagnant Dominion.
Everyone who loved the original Ash of the Witch that did not have a cooldown, and it hit on every tick of the Gadget ult and every tick of the Twin Blast ult and hit on every tick of everything all the time, this is your card. Because it does what the original Ash of the Witch did. It slows for 150 for 1 second on every hit of ability damage all the time. If you want to make everyone hate you, build this on Iggy. And then pop your ultimate. And his ultimate already has a 250 slow on it, and you add 150 on top of that, and then just everyone dies. Like, it's troll as shit on Iggy. You can put it on Gadget to get the OG Gadget ult that nobody can get out of. Mortgage Q, yes, will apply this to everyone all the time. There are so many different ways to use this card. But it costs 7k, so.
Right.
Can I address how that card looks like Covert?
Alright, I'm going...
If Covert put on a hood instead of a beanie, and like... Covert has a better beard than that guy.
Alright, let's go to Chaos. Or no, not Chaos, I'm sorry. Let's go to Death.
That. Oh, okay. Because the one you pulled up is chaos.
Yeah. Let's go to death, and so we're starting with Call of the Week. This is your favorite
I
card.
hate this card. I hate this card. I hate this card so much because it shouldn't exist. If you play Paragon and you suck at last hitting, stop playing Paragon. But buy this card because this card, if you miss a last hit with this card, you literally just stop hitting left mouse button, please. It works on lane minions, it works on jungle minions, although I don't know why you would be building this on a jungler. The drawback of this card is that it has absolutely no stats on it. Early game card, helps you farm up. If you're using it as an ADC, you basically have 100% last hits, and you can push really hard because it's 20% of the wave health that's done for you. So if you're trying to shove a tower in as either an ADC or a mid laner, this card is incredible because you will clear faster than anybody.
Can we touch on that for a second? So you were saying earlier that typically a Marauder is going to hit for somewhere between 50 and 54 basic damage, correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay, and the regular minion has how much health?
A lot more than that. Like,
Right.
if you hit it exactly on the 20% mark for like jungle minions and lane minions, this card can give you like an extra 170 damage.
An extra 170 damage. Wow. Okay. All right, fair enough.
This is not on Raptors or Prime.
Lord Volstock?
For swinging, offlaners can use it, but again, they usually have better shit to build. Lord Volstock is a high I want to level the crap out of you card. Because if you remember, Font gave you 5 experience every 10. This gives you 12 experience every 10. And it gives you 12 power. It does not work with Wukong clones, sorry. It's a curse card, which means you can never drop this. Like, once you slot this, you cannot get rid of it. But if you slot it early, like, I think I had a Zinx game where I slotted this as an offlaner, and I was like level 17 at, I want to say like 16 something minutes into the game. Like, you level incredibly fast with this card, and it's built for those people that scale ridiculously well with levels. Like, if you slot this early on the Zinx, you're going to hit your level 5 faster, which means you get your ult, and then you just can't die, and you get your level 9 ult faster, and you get like people that are entirely about levels and can do everything they need to do with just 2 cards. This card is fine.
Okay. And so just to cover this again, cursed means that once you equip this card, you cannot
get rid of it.
You cannot unequip this card, right? So you can't sell it, etc. So basically, you are stuck with this card taking one of your 3 spots. Okay.
Yes.
While I pull up the next card, can you just say, like, and you just touched on it a little bit, but why is that okay? Like, why? Like, how do you work this in so that it's okay with, you know?
Yeah. One for Trody, Thunder Cleaver is in the game, but it's terrible. Well, it's not. It does the same thing. It's just ridiculously expensive for no reason. Cursed is okay in some respects. Like, that card is fine because of how much you can level with it and how fast you can level with it, and it has power on it. And then as long as you can do everything you need to do in your other 2 cards, you're fine. If you can't, like, if you're gonna build a curse card because you want the stats, you have to make sure that you can do everything you want to do with 2 cards. But yeah, like,
Okay.
And then the other thing is it will not let you mix with elevate cards, which we skipped over in order. Elevate cards are cards that have very powerful effects and go to like steroids level broken, ridiculously powerful effects if it's the only card in your hand. And obviously, if you have a curse card, you have another card that you can't get rid of, so you're like instantly locking yourself out of all of the Elevate cards because it's not going to happen.
And the important thing to note about Curse is that you can actually, since the late game cards are so strong, they're so expensive, you can actually get away with 2 really expensive late game cards, and you don't necessarily need that 3rd slot. It's almost the same argument for having wards in 1 slot, is that once you get to a certain point, those there are instances, right, Severon, where you could just play with 1 card. Correct?
Yes.
Viable, like completely
Yes.
viable. Okay.
To cause for concern, if you have 0 gold, nothing happens. You have 0 gold. If you hit level 20, you still lose the gold every 10 seconds, and that's why, like, the point of cursed cards is they give you ridiculously bloated stats for their price, but you can never get rid of them, and they fall off after the mid game. So if you have a cursed card that's giving you ridiculous health regen, or you're going to level really, really fast, you have to push that advantage and use your early game and try and close the game out early, because the later the game goes, the card's going to start falling off, and like that one's just going to cost you money for the rest of the match. So if you're slotting cursed cards into your deck, you have to play very aggressively and try to end the game before they fall off.
And so something to keep in mind when I was going over the affinities with Epic, the death affinity is basically that affinity, the cards within that affinity, I should say, are set up so that you can break the rules of the game, okay? Mm-hmm. But you're giving up other things in place of that, okay? But that's kind of like what that is.
Very much so.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so Finder of Playthings. Somebody said, "Oh, look, it's Kalari's alt."
It basically is Kalari's alt, but
okay.
It's very nice because you can single out individual people by reducing their attack speed and their movement speed, which is nice. It's different from Kalari's ult in the fact that Kalari's ult only gives you vision for the time that you're channeling, and normally if you're Kalari ulting, you're just like ulting and shooting over there. This gives you the reveal for the entire 6 seconds after you pop it, and it's on a 90-second cooldown, which isn't bad. Like, wards are in order. And then when we get to Chaos, you'll see the Chaos Vision card. This is the Death Vision card, and they're working on... It's not, hey, we need more wards. It's what kind of vision do we add to knowledge and growth so that they keep using different stuff.
Okay.
One vision, you will help the team get the kill, but you're not in assist range. It's the same thing, like if you Murdoch someone or Murdoch snipe someone and you don't get the kill, you don't get the assist for it because of how they do assist range in this game.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Awaken the Emmerich.
Oh, you mean the Wukong split push card? Remember what he was saying about how death cards legit break the game and it's about not playing by the rules? I give you the Wukong split push card. Because it's on 150-second cooldown, but that doesn't really mean anything. Because you can flip the minion wave. So you can either like have a minion wave shoving into your tower and then flip it to your round, which is really fun because there's a growth card called Pack Leader that target an enemy and all of the nearby minions attack that person. And we have used that in offlane where they shove the wave in and you just flip it in Pack Leader and they get killed by their own minion wave. It's so much fun to do.
Yeah, so one vision was saying that this card looks broken and that minions are so effing OP. But you just brought up a good point. Is like you can have that counterplay card where if they do this, then you just turn that around on them and they basically are going to die.
Yeah.
I mean, or they just have to go running as fast as they fucking can.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So.
No, it only gives them the death. On this part, like, you can't see the whole description of it. When you pull it up in the deck builder, you can. It gives them death touch and drain life for like 20 seconds or some shit. The sneaky, I want to be an asshole Wukong who doesn't play by the game rules and wants to ruin everyone's life way to use this card is you don't have to care if your wave is shoved, because if their wave is pushing your inhibitor, you can run all the way to their inhibitor, and the next wave that spawns, flip it and just kill their inhibitor without having to unshove the wave, because you just used their own minion wave against them, even though your lane was shoved. So, yeah.
All right, Shadow Dancer.
You can turn the game around. You can turn the game into complete AIDS with that card. I hate that card.
I love that card.
Yeah, you love that card because you're a fucking Wukong main. Like, when you watch Covert play 42, he's going to play Wukong. He's going to pick up that card, and he's legit just going to sit next to a T2 and wait for everyone to, like, go to Raptors or some shit and be like, boom, flip, done.
All right, Shadow Dancer.
Hey, look, it's another card that has part of Kalari's kit in it. Yeah. I think that's actually the same movement speed buff she gets too.
Well, and you're getting 14 damage out of it, which may actually be what she gets out when she comes out of it. I don't know.
No, she, you just get the slow now. They took the damage.
Oh, they took
off
the damage
'cause it was
out.
Stupid.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you saw Revenant one-shotting people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, she gets, I think, 150%, which is down from the 250%, but since she does crap tons more damage, it doesn't really matter. There's so many different ways you can use this card. You can use this card to, like the guy said, Severard card, you can just stealth walk up behind someone, punt them halfway down a lane. You can do the Revenant build where you just walk around with your 4th shot slotted and stealth come out and pop someone for like 1500 damage, which shouldn't be a thing. You can use this on Kalari to have like double stealth, and you're like, hey, this is a playstyle card because you can use this with literally any hero depending on what the rest of your build is and what you're trying to do. Trody, you cannot damage a tower further back than the first one. So if you flip a wave in between the T1 and the T2 is still invulnerable because the T1 is still there.
Darren is asking if there is a counter card to Shadow Dancer.
To Shadow Dancer, Vision. Shadow Wards counter it, find or play things can find the person that's walking around with it, and when we get to Chaos, you'll see the Chaos one, which actually helps. One Vision, yes, but you have to use an Elevate card, and that's the only card in your build, so you literally do nothing else other than have 8k health. So you have no other effects, you have no actives, you have no auras, you have nothing.
And Wraith would counter that with his sonar.
Yes,
Right.
Very much so.
Yeah. Okay, Wicked Riposte.
Riposte.
Yeah, there you go.
Purify yourself, so this is basically I have Hunter's Guile, but you get damage based on how much shit you removed. So if you're like, hi, I got slowed, and I got rooted, and then someone's throwing a stun at my face, if you can pop it in the little time frame you have before the stun hits you, you can cleanse the stun, otherwise you have to wait till the stun's over. But like, and if someone has the Blight aura and you're slowed and then Severard roots you, that's 3 different things that you're popping off yourself, so that's like 225 damage that just goes out to everyone nearby you. So that's like a really nice passive to have on that card. 90-second cooldown isn't bad. 6 power is not bad. 36 ability armor. This is tied with Unbroken Spirit for the 2nd highest ability armor card in the game. So if you're tanking and you need an ability armor card, like even if you never use the active on it, 2nd highest ability armor card in the game.
Okay.
No, Ranger, like that's per lane. Like if a T1 is up in the right lane and you're pushing the T2 on the left lane, that's fine. But if the T1 in the left lane is up, you can't hit the T2 yet.
Thank you again, Mud. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Mud is a wonderful person.
Okay, so Plague Lord Malik.
One Vision, I do actually just know all these off the top of my head. Oh, you were asking if the Wukong card had a counter, teleport, or there's an order card that makes all of your towers invulnerable to damage for 6 seconds, and that's pretty much the only thing you can use to stop it. Or have Kalari with a global ult to kill the person that's using it.
Yeah, no, this is not scripted. Like, we discussed what we wanted to talk about, like in terms of cards that we thought were important, but none of this is scripted. What I've said up to now and what he's said up to now has not been scripted, and that's just the way we roll here. But this man is definitely a legend. He like I said earlier, he tests all of this stuff. It's all in his brain. Like, it's amazing. Go ahead, Seb. So Plague Lord.
To David, Mud already has a boyfriend. To Moxie, we're pretty sure that Malik is more of a race of people because there's different cards with them on it and they look different in each of like they have different armor sets and they do different things, so we're pretty sure it's just like one of the peoples that inhabit Agora, and we'll learn about them when they actually put lore in the game for all you people who care about lore that has nothing to do with gameplay whatsoever. But anyway, this is a mid-game card because it costs 12k to get online, so this is like the earliest you'd be seeing this is around the 15-minute mark. 17 power, 290 health, 170 mana are really good stats for this card. The AoE slow, in addition to the Blight, is really, really nice. And this is the only Blight card in the game that matters. There are two cards in the entire game that apply Blight, and the other one you will never buy, ever. So this is like legit the only anti-heal you have in the entire game. So if you are... I would make a deck that has this in it, so that if you go up against an enemy Rampage Chimera Phase combo, you at least have the anti-heal.
Especially with the changes to Rampage.
Yeah, you will see this card a lot in comp because Rampage is going to be very powerful in comp, and Phase still does Phase things.
Sorvuk Initiate.
Yes, this is probably my favorite death card because if you're a tank and you're in death, even if you're never going to use the active, this card is amazing because it gives you 410 health and 48 ability armor, which is the highest ability armor card in the game. Thank God. Love this card. And then you get into the active.
Right?
You were going to say something?
No, go ahead. That's what I was going to ask.
Okay. 13 cost, so again, this is mid-game. You'll probably be seeing this 18-20 minute mark. It is a link between you and the person. You both take 8% of your max health and ability damage. Now, you have 48 ability armor that helps mitigate part of that 8% shit. If you want a broken combo off the bat, I can tell you to build Zinx with this card because you're doing 8% of your max health and Zinx's shield is mitigating 50% of that, and you just link to someone and they die and you're fine because you're on Zinx and you have an ultimate that makes you unkillable, plus the fact that you have the 48%. Death Muriel is 100% a thing, because you can have this card on a Muriel, link to someone, and then shield yourself, and your shield will eat all of the damage. And then it's still doing damage to them the whole time. And you have your AoE E-shield to pop yourself, and then you can pop your right mouse button when that one comes out. Probably take like 2 ticks worth of damage before your AoE bubble shield is back up again to mitigate all of the damage. Death Muriel is actually stupid.
Okay, who else would you see building this card? Zinx? Anyone else? Muriel?
Rampage can use this and then just ult and not give a shit.
Oh, Rampage. Wow.
That's Rampage with this and the... I don't think we have Withering Shadow on here, but Withering Shadow with Rampage is stupid because, like, he just doesn't care. He just heals. It's like, meh.
All right. That's going to take us into Chaos, I believe. Yep, we're good for Chaos. And we're going to start with Demolitionist.
The card that fucking Call of the Week should be. This is basically the Demolitionist version of Call of the Week. Like, it helps you secure last hits ridiculously well because you get the bonus damage. Which helps you, if you put this on an ADC, you're looking to bomb rush a tower down. Like, even though the armor lasts longer, this will help you kill the minions faster, shove your wave onto the tower, and now you're doing bonus damage to the tower to try and shove it down as fast as possible. 12 bonus damage doesn't sound like a whole lot, but remember that attack speed is like triple. So, it's actually not, because like
So I
it
was gonna
says
say.
8% max HP, but it's mitigated by armor, so.
Yeah, that's what I was actually gonna stop so we can go back to that. Okay, all right. So this is like a farm card, right?
You can either do this on ADCs or Chaos mid laners can get this because it helps you shove your mid lane minions faster, secure the last hits. Junglers can get this because your clear time is going to be incredible. Like, this is just everyone that's not a support and an off laner can use this card if they want to.
Okay. All right, Living Guardian.
This is a stupid card. Like, it doesn't look, it's like, oh, it's a one cost that gives you the basic armor. Remember how low the basic attacks are hitting for in the beginning? You can get this level 1 and just jump on people and start hitting them and you get basic armor. And it's like ridiculous. Junglers will get this early because it's armor against the jungle minions, so you're not taking damage from that. When you gank people, you can get on them and you just don't care. In early team fights, you don't care as long as you're hitting basic attacks. Like, it is a very bloated card for a one cost card. It is very, very good. It looks like it's this is meh, but it's really, really good. 10 seconds, AWOL. It's in the first half of the description.
Yep, and it gets stacked 10 times, which is insane. Okay, Outlander Scout.
This is the Chaos Vision card. That is a 1500 unit aura that reveals everything. So if you're wondering
around
how to,
you.
yeah, a 1500 radius that reveals everything. Meaning, if you're in stealth, this reveals you. Like, you can see stealth enemies, you can see stealth wards, you can see everything that's in the shadow plane. You can see. So you can use this card to walk around and counter warding if they have order heroes. You can use this card to counter people that are building that stupid ass Shadow Dancer card. You can use this card to stop Kalari to an extent. Like, this is, it's really nice, but the problem is, A, it's 1,000 gold that isn't going into an attribute, and B, it's combustible. And so Growth had Cultivate, which is every attribute point you buy, the card gets cheaper. Order has Elevate, which has a ridiculously overpowered stat if it's the only card in your hand. Knowledge has Consumables, which you just spend, they give you their effect, and then they go back into your deck. Death has Cursed, which you cannot unequip. And Chaos has Combustible, which is a really, really good card, but if you die, you have to buy it again. And all of this is in the document thing that I wrote up and put on the whatever.
Yeah. And if mods are there, if they can relink that. We did post that already. 1,500 units would be, like, I don't know, roughly, so that people kind of get an idea.
It's longer than basic attack range, because basic attack range is 1,300. So this is longer than that.
Okay. And then we have Profiteer.
Profiteer is another combustible that does a lot of good stuff for you because it just increases your farm incredibly well. It costs you 2,400, but then gives you the 55 bonus. So again, it's just a gold card, so it's not helping your attribute points at all. And you have to kill X number of minions to actually make up the cost before you start earning money. And it's combustible, so if you die, you have to buy it again. Which, if you're an ADC, you're going to get it early just so you can farm your ass off. If you are not an ADC, you should be watching the decks of your opponents for like the first 10 minutes. And if you see an ADC buy this card, gank and dive the shit out of him. Because even if you trade 1 for 1, it's worth it because he just lost 2,400 gold out of his build.
Right.
So that, looking at what your opponent is building is very important come 4.2 or 42, whatever.
APC, I haven't shown those yet, but they're there. There's Astral Leap, which is in knowledge, and that's basically Teleblink. And then what's the card in Chaos that is the basically blink shot?
Blitz Rush.
What is it?
It's Blitz Rush.
Okay. Do me a favor, dude. Answer some questions here, and I'll be right back, because I've got to use the bathroom.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
Ranger Sensei, I missed your previous, but if you want to like copy paste it, I got you. How much gold do you start with is 1,000. Broken, there's a lot of different broken Chimera cards, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. This card does not work on jungle minions, Piggy. It is lane minions only. If it worked on jungle minions, then it would actually be broken, but it's lane minions only. True Sight does not lead line of sight. I went to church a lot growing up. They're not resetting internal MMR as far as we know. No, different movement speeds for each hero is incredible. We've been waiting for individualized base stats for a long time, and it's actually I have the project that I finished right before I got on here will be hitting Reddit tomorrow, and it does a lot of detail with that. No idea, Noel. Version 42 has incredible potential. It's going to be really wonky when it goes because everyone's going to have to relearn how to play the game, but once that settles and they get further into the card system and the gem system they have, it's going to be incredible. Yes, I tested Zinx. Zinx is not broken anymore. She's strong, but currently on the live server, she's broken. They know she's broken. They broke her because she was stupid, and they broke her, and they were like, whatever. We're changing her in 2 weeks anyway. Chimera is not OP. Shadow Slip does not break the sacrificial link. No idea speeding. How to increase gold faster for supports? You're either going to want Coin Master or Highwayman. Who this guy talking? I have no idea. Out of any card for Sevarog, what works best? Oh, dude, you can't even think about it that way because it's all about playstyle now. Like, you build for playstyle, not for hero. Parasite has actually been renamed to Curse. You can't unequip the card once it's in your deck. The death card that gives, yes, because Kalari's health regen passive is just any time that she's in the Shadow Plane, so her own stealth, the stealth card, or the purple buff all proc it. I will tell Tio that he love his race. You'll actually get to see him play it during LAN.
All right, I'm back.
Armor Wars are fine for anybody that's going to use them. 800 health on Sev is done using an Elevate card, and it's meh, honestly. As far as I know, the wards are still line of sight dependent, but the other ones do see through geometry. Top mid laners are really not changing. Like, Wraith is fine, Gideon's fine, Gadget's fine, Howitzer's fine. Like, mid lane's very different in how you play it now, so there's actually a lot more viable people in there. Is Kitty Claws is ability damage? Yes, but it does not proc on hit with ability effects.
Forsaken Monkey, we spoke about this earlier, but basically when you launch the game after you do the update on Tuesday, the game has like a built-in algorithm. It's gonna basically convert all of your mats, your cards, etc., your card packs, all of that into veteran chests. And from what they've said, it's a very generous conversion. And so if you already have all the cards, etc., then you should be okay. If you're close to that, you should be okay too, because again, they did say it was a generous conversion.
Let me just catch up on this, so then we can go back to it.
Go for it.
The day was long, and I'm tired. When building a deck, Mistral will get into the deck building because it's not anything like you think it is. There is no cooldown on how many wards you can buy, but it does cost a lot of money the more of them you buy. How is all of this easier for new players? It really isn't. Is there an Armivore card in the new system? No, that actually got put into a gem. There's a gem that you can slot up to that gives you mana back per hit. There's a gem that you can slot up to that gives you mana back for being hit. So there's lots of different ways. 15% CDR for maxing intellect. Yes, there's a card that gives 15%. Yes, those both would stack and do more stuff. How would I build Howie? I would build him with knowledge and whatever other affinity you feel like, and I would probably run Astral Leap, Atomic Soldier, and whatever other card you really feel like running. Is there Hydra? Yeah, but it sucks.
I would keep your rep Forsaken.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're going to need a lot of rep. One of the things that I showcased earlier this evening was that in order to go to the next rank for Murdoch, then basically it was going to cost me 500,000 rep to get to rank 11 on Murdoch. So you just have to kind of keep in mind. You could do it with coins too, but that costs real money. So. All right, we're on red zone.
You're starting to get build questions in the chat.
Yeah,
Like, let's get through the cards first, and then we'll go.
That.
Red zone. This is another card you control the fuck out of people with, because you can just build it and stand next to your team and watch them die. But which is, it's like, I won't say that's gonna happen intentionally as much as it's gonna happen unintentionally. Like, someone's gonna build it and be like, oh yeah, this is awesome, and they're gonna get their whole team killed because they don't understand how to use it properly. As much as you're gonna want to build this on a backliner and like sit next to your team and buff the damage they're doing to other people, if you get dove by like a Greystone or a Kwang, you just killed your entire team because they're taking 50% more damage. This is much more a card for someone like a Greystone or a Kwang, or someone who's just gonna dive or like rampage during his ult, because you can dive into the enemy team, not care that you're taking more damage because you're on a dive hero anyway, and then your entire team does 50% more damage to those people from range. So like your casters that have long range Qs that are doing 900 anyway are now going to be doing 900 plus the 50% bonus damage on top of those people. You just have to stay alive long enough, and you have to get to this card, and this is a 24k gold card. So this is a very, like, beginning of the late game would be the earliest you would see this card. Equinox, I think we're actually on the last one. Sorry.
Yeah. That's okay, Equinox. I'm gonna clip all of this stuff into segments, and they'll be in the VOD section of the channel. So
yeah, slow piggy.
So that'll all be done tomorrow. Okay. All right. So we've got Thorn Vyomi.
Yes. Oh, this card is awesome. This is like the learn it, love it card on any tank in the game, because this card is just so good.
So this is a tank card. You're not gonna use this on your carry?
You can use this on anybody. But Chevy, dude, just literally leave all your stuff. Like, just, it's gonna get converted. You're gonna get a crap ton of chests.
You're gonna get so much. Yeah.
Like, for everyone who's really, really, really hyped about version 42. Put that on hold for like 2 hours once you boot it up, because you have to download the whole patch, which depending on your internet is going to take anywhere from like 15 minutes like it does for me to like 3 hours like it does for other people I know. And then after you get in, regardless of how much you have or have not played the game, you're going to spend at least 2 hours opening all of your veteran chests, because that's how many you get. Yep. Like eventually you just give up. And you're just like, all right, I have everything I need. I'm just gonna build decks. And then your veteran chests is like your pastime while you're sitting in queue. You're just opening veteran chests because you have nothing better to do with your time. Like, I think Cert had like 1,700 veteran chests because he's played the game forever.
Wow.
And it took him an entire day to get through all of them.
Yeah, it takes a while. But they say if you open up, I don't remember if it was 50 or 100, you should have everything.
You'll have everything in the game.
Right, you'll have everything.
Easily. It's mainly going to be used on tanks, but you can use this on anybody. Like you can use it on like bruiser people that
Okay.
aren't built like full tank because it gives you 10 power and 31 basic armor, which isn't terrible, but the damage return is just insane. Like I had this on a Gideon build that I would just like go up, pop it, ult, and then everyone looks up shoot you during your ult because like for all you Gideon mains out there, you're gonna be happy because unless they have a dash or a teleport and are on the edge of your ult, and are on. You have to have a dash, teleport, and be on the edge of his ult. You're not getting out of it. Which means you basically have to try and kill him. And if he has this card, you gonna die. Because he's damaging you, and he popped this, so you're taking ult damage plus 65% of whatever you're pumping into him, and you're just gonna die. For Greystone people can dive in and hit that it's excellent on Rampage, because you switch to the gem screen.
Yeah. Sorry. No. Go ahead. You're good.
Like Rampage, if Rampage was fucking had corruption, Rampage would be broken as shit because he would have access to both Bloodsoaked and Baneflesh. And the point of Rampage's ult is high. You have to hit me because of how big I am. There's no way to get around it. Like you just body block for days. So you put this on a Rampage, ult, jump in, pop it. You're gonna take hits from everyone just because of how big you are, and they're all gonna get 65% of that back to them. Chevy, literally, man, just don't worry about it. Just leave all your stuff the way it is.
Yeah, I don't have any specifics because they didn't give that to us. As far as what you're gonna get or how you can forecast that. But what I do know is that if you wind up, it's somewhere between 50 and 100 veteran chests. You'll have everything in the game, okay?
Yes.
So you'll know that.
Yasser, it's gonna convert. Like even if you can't play it for a month, the first time you boot up 42, you will get all your veteran chests. Like it will register that your account did that.
David, they gave, I think they gave everybody a certain amount of coins so that we could test stuff, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have gems here.
Hey, not the
and
caster, right?
no. So, but before we go through this, what I think I want to ask to try to help people out, and this is kind of like speed round here, but can you tell us? And I know, so you can say no to this, but to try to help people out when they go to make their builds or whatever, per role, like jungler, carry, etc., what are the two affinities that you think, generally speaking, would be good for each of those roles? Or, if you can't answer that, what is the one affinity that you think per each of those roles that you think everyone should take a hard look at?
Mid lane, you have to run knowledge, and it's usually going to be knowledge, order, knowledge, growth, knowledge, chaos. There's the occasional knowledge, death running. Supports, you're either running order, growth, or order, knowledge. Every ADC in the game is going to run order, chaos once they figure that build out, which I'm not going to give them right now because it is AIDS. Junglers are usually running growth, chaos, growth, death. Offlaners are running growth plus literally whatever the fuck you feel like running.
Okay, and you said for the Marauder or the ADC, what were the ones you recommended?
Chaos order.
Chaos order. Okay. Okay, cool.
I'm not telling them why. I'm not, because that build is so
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. No, I just want to try to help people out when they go to do this because, I'm going to get into that later. So, okay, so gems. I have the gems sorted by, the way that you had suggested. So I'm going to play it and, again, kind of speed round because we're getting into midnight now. But kind of speed round through these and you can talk about them. And I highlighted them at the list that we spoke about, if you recall. Okay?
Okay. I mean, I can probably do most of these from memory, honestly, but...
Oh, yeah, you could just talk. Don't worry about it. It's okay, and I'll find where we need to be.
In, like, T1, you have Onslaught, Auto Shield, Mana Potion. Mana Potion is horrible and should never be built. Auto Shield is decent if you're playing aggro. because you'll have an extra 62 health that the other guy won't have. Onslaught is like meh, because it's like cooldown reduction on hit, but it's not really that good. The only person I really found it to be decent on was honestly Murdoch, because it like his passive's on a short ass cooldown and you're just getting that longer shot with the pen faster. T2 intellect was blade turn, deadly mana, and experience. And if you are not a tank, you want deadly mana, and if you are a tank, you would get blade turn, and nobody should ever picked up experience ever at all in the game, because eventually you hit level 20 and then you just wasted a gem slot. Yay.
And wait, something important. So you're saying don't waste a gem slot, but if you were to build the Lord card in Death, why are you okay with slotting one spot there but not a gem?
The card gives you EXP regardless of, like, you get EXP just for walking around, whereas for this one is based on how much you're getting normally, and at the end of your build, the card's still giving you 12 power, which is, this is giving you nothing.
Great. Excellent. Okay. We're good.
Tier 3 intellect is my favorite gem tier in the entire game because all three of these are viable. Trying to remember, Spellburn is your new tainted magic that has been adjusted from 8% down to 6%. Mana Flow is your new infinity stream that has been adjusted from 3.6 scaling all the way up to 10 mana scaling based on your percent of missing. And healing spells is just your hi, my spells heal me. So like all three of those are playstyle based, and all three of them are 100% viable options.
Okay.
T4 was Ruthless Spells, Spell Shield, and I'm forgetting the third one. Probably because you should never slot it. Ruthless Spells is just increased spell damage based on percent of missing health. It's a fine card for getting more damage, but it's meh. Spell Shield is Divine Shield's bubble put into a thing. It's meh. The third one, I'll know it when it actually pops up on your screen.
Reactive spells?
Oh, that card, yeah, that's why I don't remember. You should never slot that one. Like, most of the ones I don't remember, it's just because it's like, why would you ever slot that? And then T5 is where it gets interesting. If you are a caster and you want to do damage to people, you have to go to 25 intellect and you have to get overpowered spells because it's 20% fucking damage increase and you're an idiot if you don't have it. Empowered attacks is it's a meh. It's a niche item for characters that are gonna use it properly. Like Crunch could use the hell out of empowered attacks because he has so many ability chains put next to each other. Wraith could use it. Like empowered attacks is stinger boost without the cooldown. Like every time you use an ability, your next auto attack does the damage. And then the last one is a penetration aura, but nobody's really going to use that because that would be more of a frontlining tank kind of a gem, and none of your frontlining tanks are actually going to get to 25 intellect. So yeah,
I would open up chess now, Cryo Gaming, because you could get rep, and I think rep's going to be very valuable. Anyway, sorry. Okay, yeah. We're on
Vitality.
Yep.
Healing towers is good. You're going to want that on your off laners. There's an argument to be made for it on mid laners and supports as well, but not as much as you would think it would be. Jungle lifesteal is jungle lifesteal, and quick exit is actually a lot better than it sounds. It's not a must-have, but you really can't go wrong by picking it up. That one you'll mainly see on jungles and supports, like sustain junglers like Chimera and Quang and Rampage, and people that don't need the lifesteal can get quick exit just so they can back and get out and keep farming or gank people faster. Armored is meh. Like every bot in the game will build armored, but it's really meh because there's the damage reduction one in T2, and that's the one you're really gonna want. And I forget what the third one is, but I'm pretty sure it's shitty.
A mana reactor.
Yeah, that one's really shitty. T3 was the damage return. Is really, really good. especially for people like Gideon, because the damage return stacks with the Yomi Guardian. So Yomi's doing the 65%. If you have that, you're returning 75% of basic damage to the people. Really nice card. Executioner's Rush is the, what the fuck is it called? The Heart Shot card put into a gem. It's a piece of shit. Shredding Strikes is decent. Like that's Shredding Strikes versus the damage return are both like hi, I'm gonna dive people gems, and is based on what do you want to do? Do you want to dive people and shove their own damage back to them, or do you want to dive people and make your entire team do more damage to them by taking their armor off? Ferocity is horrible. Consume the Dead is drink the spirits put into a gem. You get the healing based on killing minions and enemy heroes and so on and so forth.
Reflexive.
Reflexive Purify is meh. Like it's decent, but it's meh.
Okay.
It's not a bad option, but it's not the best option. Says Healer, that was just this thing that happened when we recorded it. Like when the actual game drops, you won't be seeing multiples. Lol Piggy Pen is one of the best stats in the game now. Armor Aura is the passive from Barrier of Will put into a gem. It's a decent card for backline supports that are going to be next to people. And it's somewhat an anti-dive card because if they dive you, you're giving everyone increased armor and shredding their armor down. Improved health regen is just improved health regen. Like you can't really go wrong picking that one. But it's not a must-have by any means. And then, fuck, what's the last one in that tier?
Avenging Spells.
That one's horrible.
Okay.
Crazy, I would very much implore you to not copy people's builds and build your own because, like, it's much like builds are entirely based on playstyle, and if you don't play the deck the way that they play the deck, you're not going to get as much out of it.
So Maverick, we're gonna go over the deck building process here in a bit. We're gonna finish the gems with Sev, and then I'm gonna go through what the starter decks look like. I'm gonna show you some gameplay footage with a starter deck, and then after that, I'm gonna show you the deck build process. And so yeah, so we're gonna go over that stuff, and Sevron has a very good way to kind of just go through the process. Okay. All right. So
Jungle Assassin is basically your scythe card put into a thing and helps with your clear time. Auto health potion is decent, but you have better shit to get. And improved last hits is a must buy on ADCs and mid laners. T2 fast travel is shit. There's that being said, there's a couple ones that I put it in, but it's shit. Ruthless is just increased damage card. You can't really go wrong with that. And the last one,
Wealthy,
is just another farm card. Like you can get that on ADCs and farm your ass off, or you can get Ruthless on ADCs and just do more damage to people. Like that's the actual debate in tier 2. Multi-shot is a spare ultimate that doesn't go through things. It stops at what it hits. It does not actually go through everybody. It's decent. It helps you clear minion waves faster. It does AoE damage when you're attacking multiple targets. It's fine. It's whatever.
So
it's
someone in chat asked about this. What happens with melee heroes with this? It just doesn't work, right?
Nothing.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Which is shitty because this should be where Thunder Cleaver actually is, but they put Thunder Cleaver into a ridiculously expensive card that nobody's ever going to buy. Okay. So, you know.
Gotcha. Lifesteal?
Lifesteal is incredible. But, like, that's pretty much enough said. That's like multi-shot versus lifesteal is just damage versus sustain. And mana generator, for the person in chat who asked about Armivore, mana generator is your Armivore. And if you were listening in the other two affinities when we got to a mana card, I was like, this is shit. This one's actually fine.
Okay.
AWOL, no. It just applies to the main one. And the other ones don't apply on hit effects either. But powered rounds is decent. You can just hit play because these ones are fast.
Okay. You can, yes, you can, degenerate. Go ahead, sorry, duelist.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with empowered rounds. Duelist is fine. Duelist is more of a tank gem because you're going to dive on someone and take 20% less damage from whoever you're hitting. And the reason you would get that on a tank over an ADC is because every ADC is going to get piercing basic because you do more damage to heroes because basic armor got bloated. And you do more damage to towers, and you do more damage to minions, and you do more damage to prime because literally everything in the game has armor now. So if you're an ADC, you have to get piercing basic.
You cannot stack gems.
No. For everyone that thinks this is complicated as fuck, it really isn't. It's like you are literally getting into what Covert said at the beginning of it's just information overload.
Yeah.
Like it's just getting all of this, like you're just reading the whole encyclopedia. Holy fuck, there's all this stuff going on, and then when you actually get into it, it's like, oh yeah, this is what this does.
Yeah,
it's
so
really simple.
It took me several days where I was just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then I sat down with Sevron and we did, actually it wasn't just with Sevron, we actually a couple people had like a little session and we talked about it and we did our own builds and then talked about why that wasn't good or why you should do this, that, or the other. And then it was after that it really kind of sunk into me. So like things started to sink in for me. So we're gonna go through that process though. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
Equinox Deadly Mana is one of the best gems in the game. Also to tack on to what Jay says 9 is, even like myself, I'm going to say hi. When you get into V42 after you're done opening all of your chests for like an hour, if you still feel like playing the game, play at least 3 bot matches. Like even if you hate bot matches in your PvP all the time, play at least 3 bot matches so you can get a feel for what you're trying to do. Because when we get to the deck building is no longer about, I'm going to build this hero. It's, what are you trying to do? Build the deck to do that, and then pick a hero you can run that deck on, kind of a thing. But anyway, critical hits, that tooltip is not accurate. But critical hits is fine. It's just like, hi, I want burst damage, but this tier was critical hits versus relentless pursuit, which is I can just hold left mouse button and never slow down, versus I forget what the third one is. Bounty Stalker, and the new Bounty Stalker, like Bounty Stalker is hi, I want sustained DPS that's I can track, and critical hits is I want to have a chance to just blow your face off, because it looks like Halo percentage, because it's 20% and I think it's 75% bonus damage, which you would look at that and be like, oh, that's not enough. Remember, you can hit people like 4 times a second, so even though it's 20%, you have so many chances to proc that for the extra damage that it's just ridiculous. I think that's all the gems.
Did you do Relentless Pursuit?
Relentless Pursuit is I can hold left mouse button and never slow down.
Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to go into some game footage and like show starter decks, and I'm going to talk to them about a bunch of stuff. Is there anything that, well, actually, number one, there are 2 documents that Sevron wrote and created for the community. So mods in chat have those links, and if you could go ahead and spam those, you all should take some time and read those. Do you want to talk about your basic guidelines or your basic guide that you created and what that focuses on and why that's a helpful tool?
Sure. Let me answer AWOL first. AWOL, in that context, attack speed is capped at 0.25 now. The first one with the exclamation point card, I think it is just a breakdown of here's everything that changed, here's the new terminology, here's how the cards work, and then at the end of it, it goes over economy and cards so you can see the differences. And then the cards part is just things you'd want to note if you're not, like, they're not damage specific, because you can build damage everywhere. And all the cards that I list down there are basic ones that you're looking for that are play style based. They're not hi, I want to kill your face off based. They are, if you're looking to do more CC, I got Trapper in there. If you're tank, I list all of the different armor cards in there. The list at the end is for, I want to play the game this way. Here's cards that will help me do that. The exclamation point hero is just my spreadsheet that has every hero in the game, all of their base stats listed per level, plus their abilities, plus those stats per rank, X and X and X.
And Sev, was that the information that you were waiting on to make sure that like all these different percentages and numbers made sense? Because I know you kept saying like, well, if we had these stats, then we would know if this makes a difference or not.
Yes, because that's from the API, which is their server document that has all the actual numbers from in the game. So
Okay.
that's, unless they update that between now and 42, those stats are what is shipping with live. Which, the one thing on there you'll note is that gadget speed gate is literally doesn't change when you level it up, and I sent that to them and they were like, oh, that's not right. So they're gonna adjust that so that it actually means something. And when that happens, I will update that on the sheet. But I update that sheet every time there's a patch so that it stays with like, hi, here's all the stuff, you can just go here and look at things.
So again, you know, I've already kind of highlighted Sevron's body of work on Paragon, but those two sheets and him updating those, I mean, he's really doing a great service for the community. Sevron does stream occasionally as well. He is on Reddit. Is there anything you want to talk about, either your stream or Reddit, that would be helpful?
I stream very, very, very occasionally.
Okay.
Like, that's not even a consistent thing at this point, although I'm close to buying my next PC, and when I get that, I will probably do it more often.
Okay. And Reddit?
I'm on Reddit. If you ping me, I will answer you. If you, like, I monitor the newbie threads that go out on, I think, Tuesdays and Fridays, and I will answer them based on your question. But sometimes, like, if I read the first phrase of your question, it will, like, I'm just being blunt. Sometimes I'll get to a point where I'm, like, reading the first phrase, and I'm just like, I don't really care, and I'll go to the next question. So,
Okay.
sorry for that. I genuinely try to answer all of them, but there's some of them that just, like, start out horribly worded, or they're just, like, I'm just like, I don't have time to read this.
Now, for those of you that don't know or not in our Discord, if you type in !Discord, you can hop in there. One of the chats that we have in there was deck builds, and Sevron was very active in there before. I don't know how active he will still be in there, just because I know he was saying earlier he doesn't want people to copy each other's builds. But we can still have theory crafting in there, and there may be things that are viable or not viable, etc., etc. Sevron, can you talk about that and why you think people should not be copying builds?
Yes, let me answer APC first.
Okay.
Glacial, like, most of the dashes in the game lost their damage. Glacial Charge doesn't do damage. Grux's dash doesn't do damage. Gadget Speedgate doesn't have damage on it. Fangmao's dash used to, when you hit the person, you would do damage, and then you got the damage bonus on your next basic attack. That damage got taken off. It's very much like dashes are just dashes now,
Escapes.
with the exception of, like, Shinbi still does a crap ton of damage because that's just how you use her combo. For the deck builder channel, you can always ping me with a question about a card or a deck thing, and I will answer you when I get to it. When I'm at work, I don't usually have access to Discord. I do not advertise copying people's decks because it's, like, even on live right now, but especially once 42 goes live, it's about how you play it, and you're going to pick the cards that let you play the way that you want to play the game. So if there are, like, Reborn fans in the chat that are jungle and they love J-Leo, and you just copy one of J-Leo's decks, if you don't play the game the way that J-Leo plays the game, you're not going to get the same anything out of that deck, because that deck was built by him for the way that he plays the game. So you gotta look at what you're trying to do, build to how you want to play, and then play it, because that's what it's about. It's like when I design builds for my players, it's hi, here's a build, go have fun with it, sir. And then I'll check in with him like 2 days later. And I'll be like, oh yeah, here's the build. It's like half of it's different from what I gave him because he took my build, was like, okay, this is what we're trying to do, and then he adapted it to his play style because it's not about that, except for like ADCs. Canada doesn't really care because it's like, hi, I'm just gonna shoot people and kill them because that's what ADCs do, and that's not that difficult to build. So as long as he can shoot people and kill them, he doesn't really care as much. But yeah,
Okay.
the very very playstyle. When we get into the deck builder thing, that you're gonna hear me say that a lot. So
And then next week, Sevron and I haven't worked out the details, but we did talk about potentially having some kind of suggested builds. It might not be something that we can do on Tuesday, might be a couple days later, or maybe the following week once everything's live and we kind of go through all of that. So that's something that we can go over and down the road as well. All right. I don't know what's going on here.